Well, it doesn't seem like we should be testing plants already in leaf tissue this early in the year, but you know what? If you've got a wheat crop, if you've got a corn crop that's coming up, it's time to start pulling some leaf samples and sending them in for analysis. We wanted to talk today about why it's so important, why you've got to do it on your farm.
If you've done some soil testing on your farm, and if you've seen your fertilizer bill, you're probably kind of curious if I put enough nutrients out there. Did I put too much out there? Here's how you find out. It's by doing plant tissue analysis. What we're basically doing is letting that plant tell us what it is short on for nutrients.
Yeah, so what you want to do is go out there and actually pull leaf samples and get them sent in for analysis. Now, right after you get the analysis back, you're going to see, hey, my plant is in good shape on nitrogen and phosphorus. Maybe it's short on potassium. Can you do something about that this year? Well, in some cases you can. Maybe you can go out and side dress. You can do some foliar feeding, things like that. What we use this plant tissue analysis for, even more than that though, is to tweak our fertilizer program going forward into next year. So if we're short on something consistently, time and time again, this fall when we're putting fertilizer on, or next spring, we're going to make adjustments to our plan and say, you know, based on the soil test, we thought we were in good shape on this, but the tissue test proved us wrong. So we're going to up that fertilizer
Well, it's
rate.
not just what we're short on. It could be what we're long on too, because when you're over applying certain nutrients, that's going to show up on the tissue test as well as excessive. And this is kind of a funny thing when you talk to farmers. Excessive is just as bad as deficient. If you have way too much of something, it's just as bad as not having
You're
enough.
wasting your money, and maybe it's not good for the environment. So as an example, right off our farm, when we started doing plant tissue analysis, we realized we were excessive on nitrogen, just time and time again, but we were deficient on zinc and boron and potassium. So all we did the first year is took some dollars out of our nitrogen program, put it into potassium, zinc, and boron. We spent no more money on fertilizer, and guess what happened with yield? Well, yield went up. That's a lot of fun when you don't spend any more money and you get more yield. That's what we're after as farmers.
Well, early season in corn and wheat, you're going to be basically taking the whole plant. When you've got a real small plant, it's only a few inches tall, and you want to start doing plant tissue analysis, you just put what stage of growth you're at. Maybe it's one leaf stage, and you take the whole plant right at ground level, clip it off, and you send in a number of those plants, probably a couple big handfuls, and wash the leaves off in case there's any soil that happened to splash up on them or something like that. And that's what you're sending in for analysis. Now, when we get later on in the season, we're going to be focused on certain leaves. So we'll be looking at some of the newest growth when we have great big plants. But for right now, we're talking about very small plants. So talk with whatever lab is going to do the analysis for you. Find out what they want exactly. But in most cases, they're going to want the whole plant when it's real small.
Well, once again, we think that plant tissue analysis is an absolute must in your farm. It has made us so much money on the farm, I just can't even tell you. It's a great thing. It's inexpensive to do. You'll only spend about $20 per test. You don't have to test every field or anything like that, but just to get started, I'd suggest at least testing a good area of a field and a bad area of the same field. You continue to run tests every week or at least every 2 weeks on your farm. At the end of the season, you'll know why the good area was good, why the bad area is bad, and you can hopefully fix your issues and make more money on the farm.
Well, plant tissue testing is sure cool, but so is killing weeds. We'll show you how to kill our weed of the week next.